you are preparing for WAEC, NECO, JAMB, GCSE, or SAT, these 6 laws of indices can save you marks instantly. Welcome back. I will show you simple tricks on getting by the 6 laws of indices. Rule number 1, also known as the multiplication law, states that if 2 terms are being multiplied and the bases are the same, you can add their powers. So here we have a raised to the power of m multiplying a to the power of n. As you can see, the base, which is a, are the same in both sides. So it can be represented as a all to the power of m plus n. The example below will give a more logical illustration. We have 6 raised to the power of 3 multiplying 6 raised to the power of 5. As you can see, the bases are both 6, so since the bases are the same, we can add the power. So we have it to be 6 to the power of 3 plus 5, which is now 6 raised to the power of 8. And that's all. Rule number 2, also known as the division law, states that if 2 terms are being divided and the bases are the same, you can subtract their powers. So here we have a raised to the power of m dividing a to the power of n. As you can see, the base, which is a, are the same in both sides. So it can be represented as a all to the power of m minus n. The example below will give a more logical illustration. We have 10 raised to the power of 11 dividing 10 raised to the power of 6. As you can see, the bases are both 10, so since the bases are the same, we can add the power. So, we have it to be 6 to the power of 11 minus 6, which is now 10 raised to the power of 5. As simple as that. Rule number 3, also known as the zero law, states that any base raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. Any base at all, positive or negative, except the base is equal to 0. Study the examples below to be very clear about the zero law. The law number 4, also known as the power of a power rule, states that when a number raised to a power is raised to another power, you should keep the base and multiply the powers together. Here, you can see that a raised to the power of m is in a bracket, and everything in the bracket is raised to another power of n. The law simply says you should keep your a, which is the base, and multiply m and n, which gives us a raised to the power mn. And that is basically it. For example, you have 2 raised to the power 3 all to the power of 7. It simply says you should keep your 2, which is the base, and then say 3 times 7 is the power, which is 2 raised to the power of 21. Take a minute to like and subscribe, that's how you appreciate us. The 5th law of indices, also known as the power of a product and quotient rule, is pretty practical. Suppose you have 2 variables multiplying each other, let's say a and b and raised to the power of m. We will be simply saying, a multiplied by b raised to the power of m is also equal to a raised to the power m multiplied by b raised to the power m, so the power can be shared individually amongst a and b, so long they are multiplying each other. And also, if they are dividing each other, here we have a divided by b all raised to the power of m, you can share the m to both the numerator and the denominator respectively. And that's all. The 6th and final law of indices, which is also called the negative index law, is pretty practical as well. It's simply stating that, if a base is raised to the power of a negative value, you turn it to a fraction with 1 as the numerator, and the denominator remains the same but loses its negative sign. So, for example, you have 9 raised to the power of minus 2. The rule is simply saying this 9 raised to the power of minus 2 is also equal to 1 divided by 9 raised to the power of 2. You can see when the 9 raised to power minus 2 become the denominator, and it loses the negative sign. So that's basically what the rule is saying. So we have 9 raised to the power of minus 2 to be 81, and so 9 raised to the power of minus 2 is equal to 1 over 81. And that's all. In the next slide, I have practice questions where you get to identify which law is supposed to be used to solve the question and solve the problems. And I also have the answers on the last slide, so do well to solve them and confirm if your answers are correct. I will be solving complex indices problems in my next video. Stay tuned and bye for now.